A very dear friend of mine has two kids. Her elder one comes home from school and has nothing to tell her. She keeps on asking, "What happened at school?" And he would not say anything. He just says, "It was all good." And this really disturbs her. Whenever I meet her, all she has to say is, "What do I do with him? How do I make him talk? I don't know what's going on in his school." He never says anything. I have another friend whose son would just not sit to study with her. She says he's like an airplane in the house. He keeps flying from one sofa to the other, but would not sit and study. Oftentimes, I have seen her talking to friends or on the phone and complaining about the same. What do I do? My son never sits to study. Sister Shivani talks about a number of ways by which we can change habits of our children. I have learned a lot from her about how to raise and manage kids the right way. Applying her teachings to my kids, I observed a tremendous change in their behavior and habits. In this video, I will be sharing some of those teachings of Sister Shivani with you all. If they resonate with you, please do experiment with them. Apply them on your kids and do share the results with me in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. Namaste. I am Gargi and you are watching The Aligned Souls, where we talk about mind, body and soul. Let's jump into the topic. I have been following Sister Shivani for many years now. One very important thing that I learned from her was that habits can be changed. In fact, it's easier to change habits for children than for adults. And so, any not so good habit of my kids never disturbed me because deep down I knew that it can be changed. I have experimented many times with my kids and successfully changed their habits using the techniques taught by Sister Shivani. So here, in this video, I will be sharing with you some inspiring teachings from her that will help you change the habits of your kids. These teachings are not just limited to parents, but to anyone who wants to bring positivity in their surroundings and bless the life of the children around them. Number 1. It is easier to build strong children than to repair broken adults. When a child is born, the catching power of the soul and its absorbing power are highest. So whatever the child sees and hears, he is very quick to grasp. And so, it is the best time to inculcate healthy habits in the kids. But what usually happens is that parents and caregivers radiate their own unhealthy belief systems and habits to the kids. The children then adopt those belief systems, and as they grow up, it becomes very difficult to change those habits. Let's take an example and see how adults help young kids form habits that they regret later on. Nowadays, I see small babies and toddlers having their food while watching screens. The parents believe that it is impossible to make them eat without screen time. Also, they are concerned that without the screens, the kids hardly eat anything. So, out of love, they feel that at least by giving screens, the children are eating something. Here, the adults themselves are giving controlled screen time to the kids, maybe 10 minutes, 20 minutes or half an hour. Now imagine this kid growing up after 20 years. Is it possible for this young adult to have his meals without screen time? Absolutely not. Because according to the law of association, he or she has been associating food with screen time for the past 20 years, and it is not easy to let go of it at that age. So be very mindful of what you are saying, doing and watching when you have young kids around. Be the role model and help them develop healthy habits. Remember, it is far easier to do this when they are still young. Number 2. Always remember that habits can be changed. Over time, I have observed that whatever we do, however we do it, the intention behind it really matters. I didn't know of it a few years back, but now I always set an intention before beginning anything. So, what is an intention? It is basically a thought or a belief that we have about something. Now, if you believe that habits cannot be changed, then that is what you will observe in your reality for yourself and for people around you, whether it is your children, spouse, or colleagues. So, the first thing that Sister Shivani suggests to do before we begin changing habits for our children is to change the very belief that habits cannot be changed. I cannot do that, I cannot change this, I cannot quit this, it's in my genes, etc. These are nothing but mere beliefs that we keep repeating to ourselves, and this constant negative self-talk weakens the soul's willpower, which is required to change. And with a weak soul, changing habits seem impossible. Let's take an example to understand it better. Many people say that they cannot live without their cup of tea. If they don't get tea in the morning, then their body just doesn't move. They need it to get their day started. They have headache otherwise. Now, this belief that you cannot live without tea became so by your constant and repeated affirmation that you can't live without tea. Whereas the fact is that if you start practicing and repeatedly tell yourself, it's okay, I like tea. I really enjoy it if I get it. But even if I don't get it, then also I'm fine. It's okay. Slowly and steadily, you will observe that the stronghold that tea has on you starts to loosen up. Don't take my word for it. Please experiment and see for yourself whether this works or not. So, instead of our limited self-talk, let's think and say, I am a powerful soul. I can change any habit. My kids are powerful souls too. They can also change any habit. This repeated affirmation will empower the soul to easily change any habit. Number 3. Techniques to change habits in children. Now that we know and believe that habits can be changed, let's see a few techniques taught by Sister Shivani that we can use to change habits in our children. As Sister Shivani says, we are all divine beings. It is just that we have forgotten it, and so we don't realize the power of our words. Every word that we say acts as a blessing, whether it's positive or negative. So replace all your negative thoughts about your children with positive ones and bless them with positive words. This positive energy will empower their body and soul and bring positive results in their lives. For example, if your child is very naughty and you find yourself repeating to your family and friends and also to yourself that my child is very, very naughty, I don't know what will be made of him, I'm very worried, then please don't do that. Instead of repeating these thoughts, keep blessing your child and say, my child is a very peaceful soul. He is very focused. Do this for a few days and see the positive changes in your child. Second, Sister Shivani emphasizes a lot on the power of the food that we consume. Food absorbs energy, and so be very mindful of your thoughts while preparing the food, because the same will be the thoughts of the person consuming the food. Now, if you keep worrying that my children don't listen to me, they don't eat the food that I cook, they don't study well, etc., while preparing the food, then these negative energies will be absorbed by your kids when they eat this food. So, always be very positive while preparing the food. Have some bhajans playing on in the kitchen. If you want to change any habit for your kid, then repeatedly affirm the same while preparing the food. The food will absorb that positive energy, which will then get passed on to your child. For example, if you feel that your child doesn't study well, then while preparing the food, keep repeating, my child studies well, my child studies well, he is very good at studies, Whatever he studies, he understands very easily, etc. Very soon, you will start observing changes in your children. It works like magic. Try it to believe it. The parents of teenage kids usually complain that they don't obey them. This is a clear sign that over the years, the soul, that is the child, has become weak and it does not have enough willpower to do the right thing. The habits and beliefs of the child are such that he is unable to change. Rather than dealing with such situations with strictness, we should use positive energy to guide them back on the right path. When a soul is weak, anger and judgment will further weaken it. This is the time when the body and the soul need lots of positive energy and blessings to empower them with the correct beliefs and habits. So, start blessing the children with what you want to see them as. Start to see them as powerful souls. Slowly and gradually, you will see your child is changing and developing positive thoughts and habits which will have positive results and make their life a blessing. Brahma Kumari's Sister Shivani's teachings remind us of the power of our thoughts and blessings in changing the habits of our children. By focusing on positivity, love, and patience, we can help our children develop good habits and blossom into positive and successful individuals. I hope these teachings have inspired you to bring more positivity and blessings into your life and the life of your kids. Thanks a lot for watching and do subscribe to the channel for more videos on building a healthy mind, body and soul.